Howdy, Aggs. You're here because you want to know who QB1 is going to be. I can tell you this, though. I don't know, but it's not going to be Connor Weigman. If. It's a big if. It could be Connor, but it won't be him if. And I got a few things that are going to remove him from the possibility of being QB1. First and foremost, you have to mention injury. Think about the last 2 years. Got to consider a lot from the last 2 years. Haynes King's been injured. Even Max was injured last year. I think it was a thumb. Haynes goes down in that Colorado game. Hadn't been the same since, and just didn't have it. Just didn't have it. And you know where I am with this quarterback decision. I think it's basically the number one decision at this point, especially for Jumbo. And Connor is going to have to show us a few things. Rather, maybe he's going to have to not show us a few things. Here's my list of those things to not show us. To get into them, though, I need you to understand where I'm coming from. If you haven't watched the other videos, go watch them. Let me talk to you about the stats that I believe are going to decide QB1. And you know where I am with Jumbo deciding on the quarterbacks. Got to get this decision right. What I told you about QB1 is this. I think what's going to decide that spot is essentially one stat. And they really kind of go together, so I'll technically give you two, but it's INTs and sacks. Now, I don't think those are actually the things that decide it, but what I am saying is that they're really a shadow of what's taking place behind the scenes. We don't keep stats on this, and so this is why I couldn't give you these as answers, but here's what I really think decides QB1. So this is what Connor is going to have to show us he can do, and or it will show us that he's not doing by how he's getting sacked. It's who's going to be in the film room the most, and really just trickles down from there. The guy that's in the film room is going to be the guy that's the most prepared. Whoever's in there the most will be the most prepared. Being the most prepared is going to put you in great situation to make reads and checks and get us into the plays and make the decisions that need to be made, particularly under pressure. You know where I've been. I've been harping on hot routes for a good solid year now. And we just haven't had it there. We also haven't had scrambling ability there. Scrambling ability is a little bit more of a function of we just haven't had the depth to allow our quarterback to do that. We will this year, so naturally Connor will be able to scramble more, or Max, or whoever it's going to be. But, of course, sacks. If Connor's not able to scramble well, he will get sacked more often. If he gets up to the line of scrimmage and he reads the defense or doesn't read the defense, and he's just kind of this one-trick pony and he's got one place to go, kind of like what we saw out of Haynes a lot of time, and you just got one place to go and it's not there, so you're throwing it away or you're forcing it, or you're making a bad throw and your accuracy's not there, you're going to force INTs. And if you're forcing INTs, it's the worst negative play that can possibly be. And almost just as bad as you getting sacks. And sacks are going to happen a lot more often, which is why that was my main stat that's going to decide this. If Connor's getting sacked, I don't know at what rate more than Max in particular, he's not going to be the quarterback. I don't believe that he will. We're going to need somebody that can get up there and get us into plays. I do think it will be Connor if, and I do have one stat in particular I think that will really lend itself to actually both guys, but I think it just kind of defines Connor more than it does Max in a lot of ways, and that's completion percentage. I've gone over Mond, Tannehill, Johnny Football. All these guys were throwing over 60%. These have been the most successful guys that we've had since we joined the SEC. No guy who's 55, 58% has really done much of anything. I don't count this last year. You only got about 3-4 games worth of work. I didn't count. But for a season, it's just not there. Starkle snuck in there for a little bit, but anybody else, has only really been holding that up for a few games. And if you're over 60, like say Kyle Allen was, I don't count that either because you're not really playing the full season kind of thing. So I just don't think those stats bear that much. But if his accuracy is 60% plus, you got to think about what that means because it's just like the other stats. It's telling a story about what's going on. This guy knows where to go. He's using up all of his options. He's not a one-trick pony. He's not just saying, okay, we're going to Donovan Green here, or we're going to throw a fade to Evan. Never mind what Moose is doing over here, whether or not we've got, some sort of advantage going on here, or with Noah Thomas or some other mismatch, or we can check down to Amari Daniels. If the quarterback that's doing that is getting the ball and is recognizing the places that are going to be the easier option, and whoever's getting to the easier option more often, or the high percentage option more often, is going to have a higher completion percentage. It's just common sense. That's the way it's going to be. So if he can do that, then not only is he going to have a higher completion percentage, but I think he's going to show the coaches what they really want. What I think these guys really, really want is somebody that can get 35 plus points out of this offense on the regular. I think they're tired of winning games with the defense. We've seen this happen with Colorado 2 years ago, winning 10-7. That's the game Haynes King got injured in. Calzada came in, got us the one touchdown that we needed. I believe, who did we throw to? It was a fade route in the end zone, huge touchdown. But we lose to App State 17-14 last year. We barely pull one out against Miami. All these games under 20 points scored by the offense. Auburn 2 years ago, we won, I think, 20-3, scoop and score by the defense. I think the coaches are tired of having to go out and win with the defense, and they want a team that has an offense that can go out and win games, because it is going to be mercy me if this team can go out and stuff teams on defense and can put up 35 plus points. Holy, this will be a year if we've got those two things going on. I mean, of course, anybody can say that. Do we have the ability to do that 35 plus points? In large part, it's going to depend on whether or not Connor's going to be named. And I think if Connor's going to be named, then yes, the coaches will be saying we do have that ability. He's the one that's in the film room, and he's going to be the one that's going to put us in the best position to complete passes, to get us down the field, first downs, to get us in the end zone. So Connor doesn't show us that he's got that novice in him, and that the game's just a little bit too big, even though he looked really competent at the end of the year. Then I think he'll show us that he's the quarterback. We're going to look at Max tomorrow and go over his ups and downs, how he can be a benefit to the team, or how he can show us that it's not going to be him as well. So a lot to consider before we name it. I will tell you who I think it's going to end up being. Probably everybody right now legitimately is probably at least in a 55-45 Connor, just because he finished the end of the year last year. So I think that's a reasonable place to be at the moment. But I'll tell you whether or not that looks like Max could make that the best, make himself the best option. So until we get to that, though, I need you to like and subscribe now. It's important. By September 2nd, it's very important. I need 1,000 subs. The reason why, and you know this, I'm in negotiations with ESPN. We talk on the regular. Mergers have been said, and just sort of what can we do to help them? What can they do to help us? So we worked this out that if I can get to 1,000 subs by September 2nd, they've promised me that they're going to bring game day to College Station for the Alabama matchup. Huge matchup. Huge matchup. So I got to get you doing that right now. Sub it so we can see you at game day. And really, I'm just going to go ahead and pin it in. I'm not even going to pencil it down. Game day at Kyle Field, because we got 1,000 subs by September 2nd. So we'll see you then. Till tomorrow, thanks and gig 'em.